Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto was not like most Japanese military leaders. He was born in Japan in 1884, but he had seen the world. He studied in the United States, he lived in America, he traveled across the country. Because of this, Yamamoto understood something very important. He understood America's strength. He knew America had huge factories, massive resources, and millions of workers. He knew that if Japan and America fought a long war, Japan would lose. Yamamoto even warned Japan's leaders. He said that if war happened, Japan could win for a short time, maybe 6 months. After that, he had no confidence at all. But Japan chose war anyway, and when that decision was made, Yamamoto did his duty. If Japan was going to fight the United States, then Yamamoto wanted to strike first, strike hard, and shock America. That thinking led directly to Pearl Harbor.
The attack on Pearl Harbor was a huge success at first. American battleships were damaged, the U.S. Navy was caught by surprise. Japan looked unstoppable. But there was a problem. The most important American ships were not there, the aircraft carriers. Carriers were the future of naval war. They carried planes that could strike far beyond the horizon, and America still had them. As the months passed, Yamamoto became worried. He knew America would recover. He knew America would come back stronger. So he believed there was only one solution. He had to destroy the American aircraft carriers in one single decisive battle. That battle, he believed, would happen at Midway. Midway was small. It was just a few tiny islands in the Pacific Ocean. But its location mattered. Midway was close to Hawaii. If Japan took Midway, it could threaten Pearl Harbor again. It could also force the American Navy to come out and fight. Yamamoto had a plan. He would attack Midway. The Americans would rush their carriers to defend it. Then the Japanese Navy would ambush and destroy them. On paper, the plan looked perfect. Japan had more experience. Japan had better pilots. Japan had 4 powerful aircraft carriers. Yamamoto believed the Americans would fall right into the trap. But there was something he did not know.
While Yamamoto planned his attack, American code breakers were doing something very important. They were listening. The United States had cracked parts of Japan's naval code. They could not read every message perfectly, but they could understand enough. They learned that Japan was planning a big attack. They learned the target was called AF. The Americans suspected AF meant Midway. To confirm it, they sent a fake message saying Midway was low on water. Soon after, the Japanese sent a coded message saying AF is short on water. That was all the proof the Americans needed. Now they knew where Japan would attack, when the attack would happen, and that Yamamoto was confident of victory. Instead of being surprised, the Americans prepared a trap of their own.
The American Navy was not strong. One carrier, the USS Yorktown, had been badly damaged earlier. It should have taken months to repair, but American workers fixed it in just a few days. They worked day and night. They knew what was coming. 3 American carriers were sent to Midway: Enterprise, Hornet, Yorktown. They waited in silence. They waited for Yamamoto to arrive. Early in the morning, Japanese planes flew toward Midway. They bombed the island. The damage was real, but Midway was not destroyed. The Japanese pilots reported back that another attack was needed. This is where things started to go wrong. On the Japanese carriers, planes were being rearmed, bombs were being moved, fuel hoses were out.
At the same time, Japanese scouts failed to properly spot the American carriers. The Japanese commanders were confused. Should they prepare planes to attack Midway again, or prepare planes to attack ships? This delay was deadly. American pilots launched their planes. Many of them knew they might not return. Torpedo planes flew low and slow. Japanese fighters tore them apart. Squadron after squadron was destroyed. It looked like the Americans were failing. But those pilots did something important. They pulled Japanese fighters down low. They cleared the sky above the carriers. Then it happened. American dive bombers appeared high above the clouds. They saw the Japanese carriers below them. The decks were full of planes. Bombs were stacked. Fuel was everywhere. The Japanese carriers were completely exposed. The American pilots dove. In just a few minutes, 3 Japanese carriers were hit. Akagi, Kaga, Soryu. Explosions ripped through the ships. Fire spread everywhere. One carrier, Hiryu, survived for a short time and fought back. It damaged the USS Yorktown. But later that day, Hiryu was also destroyed. By the end of June 4th, 4 Japanese carriers were gone. In a single day, Japan lost the heart of its navy. Admiral Yamamoto was far away on a battleship. When reports came in, he could not believe them. His plan had failed. The Americans were not surprised. They were waiting. Yamamoto ordered a retreat. The battle was over, and the war had changed. Midway was more than a loss of ships. Japan lost its best pilots, its most experienced crews, its ability to control the Pacific. Japan could not replace these losses. America could. From this point on, Japan was on the defensive. America began pushing forward, island by island. Midway did not end the war, but it decided who would win it. Less than a year later, Yamamoto boarded a plane to inspect troops. Once again, American codebreakers were listening. They learned his flight path. American fighters intercepted the plane. Yamamoto was killed. The man who planned Pearl Harbor and lost at Midway was gone. Admiral Yamamoto was not foolish. He was smart. He was careful. He understood America better than most. But war is not decided by plans alone. It is decided by information, timing, and chance. At Midway, all of those turned against him, and in just one morning, the direction of World War II was changed forever.